Hello, so we're going to do some hip mobility to start with using a chair, and then we're going to move on to some inside leg, the anatomy of which we can discuss at another time. But ultimately we're going to create a really easy kind of lower body, actually no, I'm probably going to do full body flow with a chair because it's really easy. So I'm a huge advocate for hip mobility, and sometimes it's very difficult for people to get onto the floor because of lack of hip mobility. So we're going to use a chair. Okay, so grab yourself an upright, like a dining room chair, such as this, okay? And I want you to scoosh almost to the edge so that there's enough room for you to come back and lean onto the chair, okay? I'll move the chair into different positions so that you can see from different angles, but ultimately we're going to scoosh forward and then we're going to take our feet hip width apart, so a little bit of a gap between the legs, and then what we're going to do is we're going to bring one knee in towards the middle and the other to the opposite side. Now, when we do this, we're going to do it with conviction, so really put a bit of a stretch on it, but don't lift your bum off the seat. So these are called windscreen wipers, if you like. So we're coming into internal hip rotation and external hip rotation. So don't just flail around like this, that's not really going to do anything, because you can see that my upper body, my waist is kind of moving a bit. But what we want is we want this from here up to be fairly static and only moving from the hip joint. Now, when I come into external rotation on this side, I can feel that if I took that any further, it would probably go into a bit of cramp. So if that happens, know that it's normal and just ease off a little bit. So you can do that for as many repetitions. Okay, let's move around a bit. Okay. Next, we're going to move into inside thigh. So we're going to take a chair. I'm going to turn it around. Wide stance. And one leg is going to go this way. So this knee is bent and it's pointing to probably about 1 o'clock, and this leg is being stretched. Now you can do one side at a time, or you can mix it up and you can do the opposite way. But ultimately we just go back and forth. You can hold it for a wee bit longer, you can keep it quite dynamic, quite active. Now, from here, we can then bring our feet in and we can stick our bum out. Wiggle around a little bit. So what you might find is you might feel that in the back of your hamstrings, but ultimately we're bringing our bum back. Now we're not curving, we'll come to that, we're not curving, we're just sticking our bums out. See? Keeping the legs straight, maybe a little bit of a bend in the knee if it's too twangy at the back of your legs. And once we're here, wiggle around a bit. Pop your hip out to the right, pop it out to the left, wiggle it around a little bit, circles one way, circles the other way. You can take it further down, you can come back up, stretch, I'm curving my back there, we're going into extension. Then, take your stance a little bit further back. We can work the upper body into the shoulders and the upper back. Again, wiggle around, it doesn't have to be static, okay? Come up. Curve, ooh, wiggle. Head down, head up. And then you can go back to the start and do it again if you fancy it. So here you go.